Fellas, week 4 in the books already. Where does the time go? Trying out my headphones this week because I listened back to my quality and I was coming in super faint. So hopefully this improves a little bit. Um, the month of September is done. Two teams literally didn't get a single win. Two teams didn't lose once. So we'll get into it as we always do. You can see here how I did last week. Went 3-2 and I'm at 11-9 on the season. So we take a little over 500, rounding out the month of September. So we also had some trades go down very recently, which was back to back both with Ford, which you'll see both of them right here as well. So, sorry, I got a little confused there for a second, but Ford did trade for some depth. Which he needed to. So first, he traded away Brock Bowers, who has been pretty disappointing this year, as we'd say, to Sam in exchange for Jacoby Myers and Kamara, who I'm sure he lobbed that offer to everyone because I got that exact same offer too. Um, Good on you, Sam. You got someone to accept the same trade again, although it didn't really work out for you last week. And then Ford immediately got a new tight end with Mark Andrews. He gets Judkins, who I have very loudly been wanting to join my team. Hasn't happened. Drake London, who is on bye this week, and then Mark Andrews giving away Bijan and Matt Golden. So it was basically just Bijan. Golden's been pretty useless this whole season. So I see why both teams did it. Steele now has a running back room of Bijan and JT. And Ford gets some much needed depth with Judkins, Drake London, and Mark Andrews, I guess, is serviceable. We'll see without Lamar. But I get why both teams in both these trades made their moves. With all that being said, let's get into the previous week's matchup, shall we? Actually, what am I doing? I forgot the freaking winner and the loser of the week. First and foremost, let's hear from our winner of the week, Derek. Can't believe I almost forgot about the most important part. Derek, you've been here a bunch of times. Now you're here for the winner of the week. How you feeling?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm sitting in traffic right now, so I figured I'd make my video since Levin's been asking for it from me for like 24 hours now. And man, Levin, sorry it took me so long to get back to you, but just relishing in a great win this week. Me and Sam, big trade on the market. Pretty much swapped our running backs, and they were all kind of just the same. I think the big winner for me was Pickens. Obviously, with CD out for a couple weeks, he's popping off now that Dak's got no one else to throw to, and they got to score a shit ton of points because their defense sucks. That was the difference maker this week. I mean, Sam still valiant effort, put up like almost 150, I think. Yeah, I like the way my team's fighting out there. Headed in the right direction. Definitely a long season ahead, so no need for overreaction. But I'm happy with who's on our team now. I think if BTJ, Bo Nix can turn around, my team's looking pretty promising. So we'll see. But happy with the win last week. Not going to complain about that. Let's make it a win streak.
Derek, I love you always make those videos in the car. I'd recognize the Beltway traffic from anywhere. Get home safe. But yes, your team absolutely blew up this weekend. And you traded with the guy you were playing against, which I always feel like is a little risky, but it definitely worked out in your favor. With Pickens blowing up for 33, you won by a score of 174 to 144. So 30-point dub. Sam still can't get a win. He's averaging 155 points being scored on him per week. We'll get into that more, though, later in the video. On the other side, our lowest scorer of the week, who did break 100, so everyone across the league broke 100, which honestly, we should all be breaking 100. We are a full point PPR double flex league with a kicker. But Ford did break 100, was still the lowest scorer with 102.58. Ford, back-to-back loser of the week videos. You just blew up your team. You sent me this video before you blew up your team. Vibes. What's the vibe check of the dumpster fire?
Hello, club fellas. I hope you're excited to get used to hearing my voice because my team is horrendous. I was looking at it, and if I didn't have Bijan or if he gets hurt or something, I might have the worst roster this league has ever seen. It's horrendous. Yeah, so I'm just gonna it's bad. I might have lost all hope. I'm in pure survival mode now. The dumpster fire is roaring right now. It might be borderline impossible to put out, but Thank you, Caleb and Sam, for saving me so far. I've put up one of the worst starts to a season that I can remember, and I'm still not even sniffing last place. So thanks for being 0-4, fellas. Yeah, my team's just bad. I could blame me getting a little too fucked up on draft night. I could blame putting a little too much faith in Jaden Daniels. I could blame a lot of things, but at the end of the day, I might just not be good at fantasy football. So, my team I will be tossing out this upcoming week is laughable. If anyone wants anyone off my roster, send me a trade offer. I'm not very good at making offers because I tend to overvalue my players, but send me an offer. Steele, Bijan, I know you're interested. SJ worst to first could be fun. God. Yeah, I'm in a 10-man league right now with an extra flex, and I am projected like 20 points lower than I am in my 14-man league with one flex. It's just an ugly roster. Like I said, I just got to find a way to get a couple more wins out of this season, stay out of that 2-mile beer run. But we fired our strength and conditioning coach. We're bringing in a new guy. The team's going to be stronger. I will be participating with them. I will be at PT again tomorrow morning, getting my leg right just in case I do have to run a 2-mile beer mile. 2-mile beer mile. Yeah, whatever. But anyway, there are wholesale changes coming to this organization. We refuse to come in last place. But with that being said, you'll probably see me next week. Peace out, fellas.
Yes, back-to-back loser of the weeks. It was time for a reset for the dumpster fire. We're rebuilding. We're looking forward to the future for the dumpster fire for sure. The roster is looking significantly better this week, especially considering Bijan was on bye this week. So, and you get Jaden back. So maybe your team's on the up and up. We'll see, right? T. Higgins is tough. That's been tough for sure. But let's get into our matchups from last week, shall we? Our first matchup was Derek and Sam. I did get that game wrong. Sam, I thought you were going to get your first win. You did not. Derek went absolutely nuclear, 174 points, 30-point win. Sam dropped 144, which was good for top 4 in scoring this week. Wasn't enough to get it done. Derek was led in scoring by Genty with his breakout game with 33 points. Omarion Hampton with 27. He's looking like a beast. Pickens with 33. He took over the wide receiver 1 role in Dallas, no problem. Laporta disappointed a little bit. Kenneth Walker with 12 points. That whole backfield's going to be a mess with Charbs taking all of the red zone touches. And then Bo Nix with 25 points against a porous Cincinnati defense. So Derek just laid it on pretty thick. And he's 2-2, 2-game win streak for Mr. Derek here. We love to see that from the kid. Sam does drop to 0-4, doesn't get a win in the month of September. For all of the shtick that he got during draft night for drafting CMC at the 1-1, it is looking like the correct pick at this juncture. Jamar was the other one that was rumored that was going 1-1 in a lot of drafts. Obviously, that was not a good pick. So even though Sam is 0-4, at least he can be happy that he made the right call there. Tyler Warren played really well with 18, CMC with 26, Jordan Love with 26. Jacoby Meyer disappointed with 7. Devontae found the end zone again with 15. He does have the kicker 1 on the year with Spencer Schrader. Chargers defense was fine. So Tet only with 10 against my juggernaut Patriots, who are probably definitely going to beat the Bills on Sunday, but that's neither here nor there. And then he does lose Trey Benson to IR. His knee was rumored to have been banged up, and then all of a sudden he got a knee procedure, an arthroscopic surgery, probably tore his meniscus, and he's out for 4 to 6 weeks. I would assume it'll probably be a little longer. Then he got rid of Alvin Kamara, who had 11 points last week. Looks to be losing snaps to Kendre Miller, as the Saints will probably trade him closer to the trade deadline. But Sam does drop to 0-4. Derek on the come up. Some are saying he's the hottest team in the league at 2-2. Our next matchup, we had Chris and Ford, and I'm sensing a theme here. Chris was the lowest scoring winner once again, 131 to 102. So 131 is normally a decent outing. It was actually bottom 5 in scoring this week. It was a very high scoring across the league. High scoring week across the league. Chris was led in scoring by Bucky, who was on crutches and in a boot today, so probably loses him for some time. Hopefully not too long, because Bucky's awesome. Just like watching him. He's a cool guy. Brees Hall was 16. Rome Odunze was 16. Rome's probably been one of the best picks for where he was drafted at in fantasy football this year. and then really was led by his special teams and kicker combining for 30 points versus Ford's team combining for 4 because he played the Ravens defense who got him negative points for the third time in 4 weeks. But Chris, 131, he gets the job done. He squeaks by once again. That's all I can really say. Diggs looked really good on the bench. I'm sure he'll find his way into the starting lineup. Jordan Addison looked good. Dak looked good with 30 on the bench. Justin Fields had 27 on the bench. So Chris went the safe route playing Kyler on Thursday night, which didn't look great for a little bit. He managed to turn around and get 16. But he does have 2 QBs on the bench who both scored 27 and 30. I will say the Justin Fields experience is a nightmare. I'm speaking from my own personal experience, so if that's a roller coaster you want to hop on, just be wary, Chris. On Ford's side of the matchup, 102 points. Bijan with 28, DeAndre Swift with 16, Matt Golden with 11, Daniel Jones with 10. No one else broke double digits. Again, Ravens defense with negative points. Ricky P, who just hit he's not on IR, but he's injured, not playing this week. T. Higgins with 6. And then Brock Bowers, who's no longer on, has been very disappointing so far this year. Clearly still nursing that knee injury from week 1. But Ford is on the up and up. Woody Marks, I'm sure, is getting in the starting lineup with 27 last week. He did drop Tajay Spears, even though he's about to come back. But Ford does drop to 1-3, not in last place because there are 2 teams that have not won. So Ford drops to 1-3, 8th place. Chris still is not lost, 3-0-1. So he's in 2nd place behind Rory, who is the sole undefeated, no ties, no losses. But yes, that's that matchup for you guys. Our third matchup, and the other one I got wrong, Rory and Steele. What a banger of a matchup this was. 160 to 136. Not as high scoring as Derek Sam, but still great matchups, honestly, across the league in general. Rory led in scoring by the wide receiver 1, Puka Nacua, who looks unbelievable in his divorce, whatever, his girlfriend, fiance, I'm not sure if he was married, of her leaving him in the offseason. Wish I would have known that going into draft day. Probably would have targeted him over Malik. But, hindsight's 2020, right? But anyway, he was led in scoring by Puka with 36, Josh Allen with 24, Saquon had 17, Cortland Sutton with 19 in the end zone, looked great on Monday Night Football. Pittman caught a touchdown, got in the end zone, and then with 10 from the Broncos, 14 from Jake Bates. So 24 versus 2. That's a big difference. That's that's not the game, but it's a big part for why Rory won this week's matchup. Obviously, Ollie Gordon only with 1. He's very, very, very much hurting in the running back department. But I don't think he's going to try and trade for anything because he doesn't feel like giving up any of his starters. And that's his prerogative. That's his MO. He's allowed to do what he wants with his team. Steele, obviously losing Lamar hurts a lot. He's got Stafford as the backup, who did have 27 this last week. But Lamar is Lamar and Stafford is Stafford. So that hurts a lot for him. But 136, similar to Sam's 144, I feel like that gets it done a lot of the normal weeks. Not this week. Packers defense with -5 and Lamar with 10. That was really his downfall this last week, and Brandon Aubrey only with 7. Not a lot for him, but JJ with 22, Ferguson with 17, Nick Booker with 20, Drake London with his breakout game, 25, who he no longer has. He just traded him away. And then J.K. Dobbins and JT with 11 and 14 respectively. So pretty solid outing from Steele. Just wasn't enough to get it done against Rory. Rory remains the sole no ties, no losses, 4-0 first place. Steele drops to 3-1 in third place. Our fourth matchup, Ben and Caleb. Ben's team's getting hot. I'll say it, 146 to 131. Ben comes away with the victory. Josh Jacobs with 31. Amon-Ra with 26. Garrett Wilson looking fantastic so far this year with Justin Fields outside of that one game, 20 points. Etienne with 20 and Herbert with 12. So, he was led by those guys that I just said. Everyone else was kind of just okay. Chuba, stymied by my juggernaut Patriots. You're not just going to run all over us, that's for sure. And then Bucker with 12. Vikings defense only with 4 against Pittsburgh. He had Romeo Dubes on the bench with 29. He left Scatterbo on the bench. Maybe he finds his way in the lineup over Chuba or something this week. But Ben's team, outside of the tight end position, is definitely on the come up right now with Rachaad White, now the RB1 over in Tampa. Romeo Dubes looked awesome. Scatterbo's the RB1 in New York. So he's got some depth. He gets Xavier Worthy back too. We'll see, man. Ben's team, we'll see. That's a dark horse. Caleb, unable to get a win once again, and that's with Kyle Pitts in his flex going for 18. Lots of touchdowns scored across his team, but he's really, really just let down by his wide receivers. His wide receiver room, I think, is probably the worst in the league, and I say that very lovingly. But Ladd McConkey with 2, DJ Moore with 7. He's got the wide receiver 3 on Los Angeles. DJ Moore is not the wide receiver 1 in Chicago anymore either. Marvin Harrison Jr., he was on the bench. He hasn't been great this year. I mean, he looked really bad up until he caught that touchdown on Thursday Night Football anyway. Mahomes with 27 was good. Gibbs with 17 against a very, very, very good Cleveland run defense was very impressive. Obviously, I have Dave Montgomery. He did not do nearly as well. And then AK in the PPR version with 17 points. So 131, high scoring. I know it was bottom 5 in scoring this week, but 131 is a decent outing, and normally that's enough to get it done. Just wasn't this week with how much everyone was scoring across the league. So Ben, rolling. I believe that's 2 in a row for Ben as well. 2-1-1 in 5th place, and Caleb drops to 10th place, not by himself, 0-4. Our last matchup, as always, is my own matchup. Me and Chase, I unfortunately lose Malik Neighbors for the season, but don't worry, guys. I got Mike Evans and CD, so they'll take care of me. That was very unfortunate to see him go down. MetLife claims another one. Luckily, we were able to sneak out a victory, even though him and Dave Montgomery combined for 5 points. We were led in scoring by my Sunday morning play of Kenneth Gainwell. I got the notification that Jaylen Warren was surprisingly out, which good thing I paid attention to that earlier in the week. Otherwise, this would have been a loss for me. I would have been pretty boned. So I plugged in Kenneth Gainwell, who had 2 touchdowns, almost on a third one, 31 points. Thank you for saving the day, Kenneth. My Lord and Savior, Drake May, with 23 points, got pulled in the fourth quarter. We were beating him by so bad we didn't even need him. James Cook looked great again with 22. Quinn Johnson, my best waiver wire pickup of the season with 23 points, the wide receiver 1 in LA. Trey McBride with 12. Bills defense with 7, and then everyone else, was pretty mid. Like I already talked about, Malik and Montgomery. Juwan Jennings was 6.4. I was flip-flopping between him and Alec Aomenor all week. They both scored the exact same, so it didn't matter at all. Tyler Loop, thank you for your service, but I will no longer be requiring you with the Ravens losing Lamar. I have since moved on to a new kicker. And Chase, 125. Second lowest score with 125, which, again, is pretty wild. I was bummed that his highest scorer was Deebo because I couldn't talk about how fat he was because he actually scored a touchdown, which sucked for me and my rage-baiting tendencies. But he was led in scoring by Deebo with 20.1, the Lions defense with 20. And then Jalen had 19. He did not complete a pass in the second half. Everyone else was pretty mid for him. Jordan Mason got stymied by the Pittsburgh defense. Derrick Henry hasn't looked good since the first half of the Bills game this season. Kelsey's old. Keenan Allen's old. Nico's on the Texans, and C.J. Stroud doesn't know how to throw the football. So, and he benched DK, who had 23 points, which, sure. I mean, I was happy he benched him. So, pretty mid-outing from Chase for sure. He posted some beautiful pictures of some beautiful scenery over this weekend. So he had to go touch some grass after I handed him a disappointing L for him for sure. But it's always good beating Chase. We'll take it. We definitely will with how bad we were banged up. But I am somehow 3-1, sitting in 4th place. Chase drops to 1-3 in 7th. All right, matchup 1. Sam's trolling me. And he's doing it with 0 wins. And I'm not going to lie, it worked. So that was a good rage bait. I was excited to get into this matchup, and now I can't because Chris was a 126-point favorite. I don't really feel like guessing who's going to start. So I was going to pick Sam, I think, but now I'm not because I can't. So Chris is going to win this one, and that's all I got for this matchup. All right, matchup 2. Both these teams look to have set their lineup, so thank you. Caleb and Chase, this is a bottom of the league matchup right now. We got 7th place versus 10th place. Chase comes in at about a 5-point favorite. We're starting to hit the bye week. Caleb's got DJ Moore on bye. He's got Caleb Williams on bye. He's got Kyle Pitts on bye. Chase only has DK on bye, so Caleb's a little more affected by it than Chase. But I don't think Chase has made any changes to his lineup from last week. He's switched some players around for where they're lined up based off the time differences because that's good fantasy football management. Later time slots go in your flex for options. Actually, I don't even think that's true because Jordan Mason's in his flex and he plays at 9:30. So I rescind that compliment. He's made no changes since last week. So just everything I said last week, same thing for Chase. Caleb, he's going with Trey Tucker because he can't go with Kyle Pitts. He's got Marvin Harrison Jr. in. Trey Tucker over Troy Franklin, I think, is interesting, but I guess it makes sense with Denver in Philadelphia. They have a pretty good defense. This is going to be a low-scoring matchup, I think. I think Jahmyr Gibbs might have 35 on his own against Cincy's defense, although I'm hoping he's not because I play him in another league. Jacksonville's defense is actually pretty good. We'll see about that one. Caleb needs to trade for some receivers. That would be my recommendation to Caleb, who's sitting at 0-4 with Gibbs and Akane. Maybe we offload one of those for a better receiver. I'm not going to tell you how to manage your team, but that would be what I would be trying to be doing. Trevion Henderson's still in the starting lineup. Caleb, just so you know, in my league, I drafted Trevion Henderson. I just traded him away for Stephon Diggs because I'm telling you that backfield's going to be a nightmare all season. As a Pats fan, I want no part of that. It's going to be three-headed monsters. Vrabel will not let go of Ramondre or Antonio Gibson for whatever reason. With all of that being said, I really want Caleb to get his first win. And Deebo's so fat that I have to pick Caleb. Let's go, Caleb. Bring it home this week for me, baby. Let's go. Our third matchup. Arguably two of the hottest teams in the league. We got Steele and Derek. Two words I never thought I'd say. Steele, you got too many J names on your team back to back to back to back to back. Jonathan, Javante, Justin, Jackson, Jake, JK. I mean, come on, man. What are we doing here? Steele comes in about a 10-point favorite, but Derek has been blowing away his projections over the past couple weeks. Omarion Hampton only projected for 16. Ashton Genty only projected for 15. Bo Nix only projected for 16. I feel like all those guys are going to break their projections. I was looking at the wrong number, but they're around that number. I was looking at the average. So he's got Chris Godwin slotted into the lineup too. With maybe he gets Scary Terry back this week. Maybe he slots Jamison Williams in. We'll see. I wonder if he's going to start BTJ. I don't know if this is going to be Derek's final lineup, but I do respect that he's keeping his Steelers through the bye week. That's a good fan right there. So Derek, 10-point underdog. Steele, he does have Bijan on bye this week, who he just traded for, but Drake London was on bye, so kind of flip-flop the two of them out. He's got JT, Javante, JSN, Jake Ferguson. He's got Dobbins against Philly. That's a pretty good run defense. We'll see about that. Egbuka against Seattle. That should be good. He's got the Bucs against Seattle as well, which I don't know if that's a particularly great play, but I think his defenses have been pretty solid this year, so I'm not one to judge. And then he's got Stafford filling in for Lamar, and Stafford is the Thursday night game. The worst thing I think in fantasy football is starting a guy who plays on Thursday, and then they're mid, and you just have to stare at the mid all weekend long. I'm hoping that doesn't happen to our friend Steele. I think this is going to be a high-scoring matchup, so I think Derek takes this one. I think it's going to be another 150, 140 matchup. Derek's heating up 2 games in a row, winner of the week last week. I think it's Derek. Yeah, let's go, Derek. Lock in. Fourth matchup, we got Benny D and Ford, the dumpster fire leader. Ford, your team's looking a lot better than it did last week. I will give you that. T. Higgins, I still think is going to be an issue for you. But Woody Marks, I bet he'll have more than 12. Wan'Dale Robinson, I think like 6 people put in a claim for him this week, just a PPR merchant, peppered with targets. Quinshawn, obviously I'm very high on. Kamara, I'm not as high on. But your team is looking much better than it was last week. With all of that being said, Ben's team is looking very strong. Even without Josh Jacobs this week, I think he's probably going to win. I'm still going to look at all of his team and get into the projections and everything. But Chuba didn't practice today, got the calf injuries banged up, but I don't think he practiced last Wednesday, and he ended up playing. Etienne's looking like a really good pick where I got him in the 9th round, but I still hate that guy. Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, very good wide receiver room. Xavier Worthy, he gets back, and he gets Scatabo as well, going against New Orleans. So he's got some good matchups. Obviously, his tight end room is pretty lacking. Njoku hasn't been great. He's only averaging 6 points a game. But I think as a whole, Ben's team is trending on the up. Ford, I think by making these trades, you've solidified yourself as not as the worst team right now. And I think that's kind of what we're shooting for at this juncture. Obviously, things could change. I think Woody will end up being good. Obviously, Quinshawn, I think will be good as well. But I think this week, Ben probably takes this one, but I think you're not going to be the loser of the week. So that's what I got for you for this matchup. Our last matchup, 4-0 versus 3-1. Me and my good buddy, my men's league teammate Rory. And my team's hurting. If you've stayed for this whole video, you'll see who I got starting right now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of my skills positions I've picked up off the waivers. QJ's been good, but I'm going with Alec Ayo Minor, Malik Washington, and Michael Carter. Not ideal for week 5, for sure. We're hoping some of them can find pay dirt, but it's going to be an uphill climb. The only kind of like solace was that Rory was starting Ollie Gordon, but he's not. He picked up Justice Hill. He's not starting Ollie Gordon for his running back too. It's going to be a tough one, folks. I'll say it. It's going to be uphill sledding, but last week was supposed to be uphill sledding too, and we were able to get it done. I will be picking Rory here because he has not lost yet, and I'm starting a bunch of guys who I did not think I'd ever be starting, and that's pretty unfortunate. But that's here we are. We make do. We're gritty. We clamor off the waivers, and we try our best. That's all we can do, right? So I think Rory's gonna take this one, unfortunately. But we're still gonna hope for the best, and we're gonna try and get an upset win. And I think that wraps us for today. Thank you all for watching. Lovely talking to you in this setting, as it is every Wednesday. Please trade me Quinshon for it. I'd really love that a lot. Other than that, everyone else feel free to send me trade offers because I really need it. But other than that, thanks for watching. Go Pats, baby.